Hello, everyone. My guest today is Michel Gagnon. He is the CEO currently of a company called plista. Now, before joining the company, he worked for PwC both in Canada and Germany. And in his last role, he served as manager strategy consulting in Berlin, advising tech companies on their international expansion. He also acted as a member of the executive committee of the Canada-China Business Council and brings many years of experience in various strategy and international business development roles at Bombardier Inc. Okay, are you ready to take us to the top, Michel?
Yes.
All right, very good. Tell us about the business. What is plista and how do you generate revenue? What's your business model?
Well, first thing, it's called plista, and basically what we're doing is we're a global Adtech company, and we focuses on three things: giving users a good experience and delivering ads that they find relevant. We help premium brands reach their audience and achieve their campaign objectives. And we give publishers a series of tools and technology so that they can generate sustainable revenues from different sources.
And how are you doing? I mean, there are hundreds of companies in this space, big and small, from the media oceans of the world down to the startup in the dorm room. How are you different? Why are people choosing to put their ad dollars through you?
There's different reasons. I think we have a good portfolio of ad units. So there's a good, breadth to the portfolio. The other thing is we bring, I would say, premium ads. We're part of WPP, which is a Group M WPP. So we're a part of Group M. We're a WPP company. So we bring a lot of premium advertisers to the mix. And the other thing is that the publishers that we have about 4,500 publishers worldwide. And this is premium publishers. So we have premium brands, premium inventory, and great technology.
Mm-hmm. So tell me more about kind of the history here. Did you found the company and then sold to WPP, or did WPP put you in after the acquisition?
The company was created in 2008. So it was founded as a Berlin-based startup. And what they used to do at the beginning was to offer what we call an on-site recommendation engine. So basically, we were providing content recommendations on the publisher website. The following year, they added let's say, an ad-sponsored revenue to the mix. So basically, instead of just recommending publisher articles, we were also adding ads to the mix. And then the company grew. We really focused on the German-speaking market. And in 2014, WPP came in and acquired the company. And it was great, obviously, for the founders. I was not there at the time, but it really helped the company scale internationally. So starting 2014, we were able to expand globally, and right now we're operating in more than 25 markets.
Yep, and I believe this deal happened in January, I think, of 2014, right?
Yes.
And EU startups reported, again, Group N acquires the company plista for about 30 million euros. They come in, obviously that deal happens. You then come in. Now, were you brought in specifically for plista, or were you already at the company and they just put you in a new role?
No, I joined in 2016. So I joined and I was in charge of international markets. As you mentioned in your brief intro with my bio earlier, I did a lot of international business at Bombardier, but also at PwC. I helped a lot of companies or advised companies expand internationally. So when I joined, I was at PwC Germany, and I decided to join a company, and I was in charge of international markets. I took over as global managing director in July.
Okay. And walk me through kind of where you see this space going. So a few things. A lot of people, I mean, we just saw actually recently Unilever basically threatening Google and Facebook with some of the content issues that's popping up. A lot of people are starting to, take some of this stuff in-house for various reasons. What threats do you see to your market?
I would say I think in business in general is, you need to focus on customers, and you need to deliver value. And delivering value to customers sounds a bit like a big corporate buzzword, but ultimately that's the name of the game. I think what has happened in the past years is that some companies, they took the money and they delivered clicks, and some of them might have lost touch with what the client really values. When you see things like transparency, like brand safety that you're mentioning with Unilever's threat, I think we have to go back to really providing value, and that means you look at, I would say, advertisers have become more sophisticated, and when they look at campaign objectives, they used to think about impressions or clicks. Now I would say that things are a bit more refined and specific. So we just need to make sure that we deliver what the client is asking for.
And that answer generally any business would say, right? Provide value, make the customer happy, etc. I'm really interested in digging actually into your industry specifically. So, for example, there are a lot of companies, even in thinking about blockchain tech, thinking about taking this concept, right? Adding advertising in general and moving it private so that there's not an ad text in the middle, which is how you make your revenue. How do you think about what people call the ad text, and how do you, what do you charge your customers? How do you manage that?
Well, I think there's a lot of, if you look at the ad tech or the advertising world at the moment, it's still very fragmented as an industry. And I think there are too many players. And this is like the former consultant who's talking. I don't think it's, keeping the same number of players is not sustainable, doesn't make sense. There are too many people in the value chain. So I think we will see a consolidation. Some publishers.
How is that? Sorry, how is that good for the publisher? So if I put $1 through you or $1 through any of your competitors, you're going to take 10, 20, 30, 50, 90, I don't know what cents on the dollar just to manage the spend. Isn't it better for publishers to have more options to drive that I'm saying ad tax, not tech, ad tax lower?
I think what you have to think about is, okay, what are the capabilities, the tech capabilities of publishers and of advertisers? I think the reason you will see a consolidation, but you still have a lot of specialization in terms of, being able to develop top-notch, state-of-the-art technology. And I do not think that the majority of publishers can afford, to develop that themselves. The same thing for brands. This is not necessarily their core business, especially for publishers. So you still need these specialists, these guys who really know the market and can afford to develop the technology. So I think providing the real, top-notch technology is key. And the other thing is, it doesn't mean that you cannot offer different options to publishers. Publishers can go through a variety of channels to get their advertising dollars. What we're seeing also with publishers is that they're putting a lot more emphasis on other revenue streams, which is what I mentioned we're also focused on. A lot of publishers are now investing in increasing subscriptions. I think the New York Times last year, the year before, revenues from subscription surpassed revenue from advertising.
Is that a threat to you guys?
Not really, because I think we have a technology that can help them do this as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You specifically Plista or WPP in general?
Plista. We offer real-time analytics. So basically, publishers can see exactly how the content is performing. And basically, this technology originally was developed to help publisher optimize their homepage. But we're tracking a lot of KPIs that can help them actually track subscription conversion.
So you'll tell the New York Times which article and how far down the article to put, to see the rest of this content, subscribe for $1 a month. You'll help them figure that stuff out.
That's right, because we can track it. We can track the effectiveness, let's say, of the paywall real time.
Is that product for you a more meaningful revenue stream than a percentage of ad dollars through you, or are they tied together somehow?
No, not at the moment, because it's more something that we've been developing like in recent months, and we see the trends and we have the technology. So we're working on it right now, and it's not our biggest revenue driver.
Is it free? Is it just value add right now?
At the moment, we're more in the testing phase because we have the tech, but we were not using it specifically for subscription at this stage. Yeah,
I think ad tech is going to be very fun to watch over the next several years, because I definitely see a world, publishers, especially those fake news and echo chambers on Facebook newsfeed, all this stuff. In an ideal world, I think people would say if we didn't have to rely on advertising, we wouldn't. So if people can figure out a way to monetize the consumer directly, right, with a subscription, right, I just think that's the future, and whoever gets ahead of that curve faster is going to win. And maybe it is an ad tech company, maybe it's you guys.
Of course, we'll be there. But I still think that advertising, bad advertising is bad. But I think we still need advertising so that people know that we have a business. that
Why do
that
people care though if you have a business?
I mean, if you're Apple, you want to make sure that you can reach consumers and they know what's your next product. This is advertising, right? Unilever, they want to make sure that people know what's how their brands are doing, new products, the new discounts that they're offering. So this is advertising in itself. I think is not necessarily bad. I think we've had a lot of bad advertising over the past years and maybe decades. And then now what we're seeing is really a focus on users and audience, where in the past we were just developing a big message and we were basically shoveling them down their throat. So I think it's a healthy change for the industry.
For publishers listening, help them out. Do you see any other trends emerging in terms of additional revenue streams besides the New York Times kind of subscription model and besides a typical advertiser model? Is anyone doing anything really creative?
What we start seeing is publishers having their own, I would say, content creation, building their own content creation teams. I think they have the people to do this. And I meet a lot of publishers, and I've met a lot of publishers in many countries over the past 12 months. And I would say the big ones all have a focus on getting branded content money. So this is, I would say, the other big revenue stream that they're developing.
Do you represent any of your advertisers in terms of helping them find branded content deals?
We don't. Well, basically, we offer the technology.
Yeah.
Again, so we offer publishers the technology so that they can capture part of that trend. So there's a lot of growth in branded content marketing in general. So we're offering a solution, and we have a relationship with advertisers. So we help them reach whatever targets that they want to achieve.
I'm really interested to see who captures that revenue stream. What I mean by that is, for the show, for example, the podcast, we have many advertisers that pay in the six figures. And on a few of them, we've actually had to work through the CEO's agent at UTA or CAA, a very high touch model. And obviously those agents are the ones getting the cut of a $250,000 sponsorship deal. And you'd call that essentially branded content. Do you think there's a play that's maybe more long tail where you could help folks do that at scale that were not as large as, the show or as large as the CEO that wanted the branded placement?
Yes, but again, depends how you position yourself. What we're doing at this stage is really focusing on publishers who are trying to get that money directly. And I think ultimately what we're offering, as I said, we're a tech company. I personally don't want to get involved into the content creation. I think there's a lot of other people who are really good at it, like publishers or even, some specialized agencies.
Don't you have to get in that business though? If you want to do branded content, you have to be in the content creation business to some degree.
Well, we are, we can be in different ways. So as I said, if I'm approaching a publisher like the New York Times, who has his, content creation studio, I would be part of that. How should I say of that deal, right? Because I'm providing the technology and the distribution so that they can be efficient and really help brands reach their objectives. So that's one way to do it. As I said, we're also part of the WPP and Group M. They have lots of agencies who are also creating content. So it's not our core business, but I think with the tech we have, we're really well positioned to play in that space.
All right, good stuff. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, what's the last business book that you read, Michael?
Recently, I reread Rework from the founders of 37 Signals.
It's a tongue twister. Rework.
Rework.
All right.
Great book.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Not necessarily studying right now. One of the CEOs that I've revisited was Laurent Baudouin. He was the CEO and chairman of Bombardier when I joined 2006, I believe. Great guy. I had the opportunity to work closely with him. He really valued the perspective from different employees at different levels. And he basically built, when he was there, he took a snowmobile manufacturer and turned it into the world's largest private jet manufacturer, world's largest train manufacturer. So great guy.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your business?
I really like Asana.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
Depends on how my son is behaving. I would say it's more around 6 and 5 these days, but it's not because of work, it's because of the family.
So how many kids?
I got 2.
2. Okay, so married, and how old are you?
I'm 38 years old.
38. All right, last question. Michel, take us back to your 20-year-old self. What do you wish you knew?
Not to give too much importance to other people's opinion.
There you guys have it. Don't give too much importance to other people's opinions. He was working and did a lot of business in the ad space in general. Joined WPP, was a manager there. plista was acquired by a group inside of WPP for about, it's reported 30 million on 3.6 million euros in revenue. He's since scaled that business. They're thinking about publishing side. They're thinking about the advertising side. They're thinking about things like branded content and how they continue to stay super relevant in the years moving forward. Michel, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thanks for having me.